I think it is time.
You two were the Italians.
I will call the public hearing to consider ordinance number 2023-16. This ordinance, if enacted and confirmed by a majority vote of Orange Village electors at an election to be held on March 19th, 2024, would enact zoning regulation for a new Orange Place South Plan Development District and rezone property into that district. Is there anyone who would like to speak on behalf of this? Want to come up, Gary? You can. You got to come up and say your name and
Get your name and address.
Speak up.
Speak up. I don't know if this is working or not. Is it?
Get closer.
think
It's
so.
not on the bottom. I wonder if the battery died. That would be awful.
Battery died. You have
It's
to
working
say-
now.
Okay.
Okay. Well, good evening. My name is Gary Bialis. I'm with Vitalia Senior Living, which is also Omni Senior Living, and I'm Vice President Development. I've already probably presented 3 or 4 times, maybe 5 times before Planning Commission and City Council regarding this project. It really consists of, it's the acreage, about 80 acres, which is across from Pinecrest, adjacent to Cooper's Hawk. Part of this project, even though it's 80 acres, there is a lot of wetlands on it, and part of our project, we would be donating approximately 37 and a half acres of parkland for the village. So that would be part of our project. The project does consist of some retail, a very small portion, about 9-10% of the whole project. A project we call as independent living, but it's active adult living. If you're familiar, you may be or not, we have a project, the closest project we have is in Solon, it's called Vitalia. And that's a little different than this project. Vitalia in Solon is independent living, it's assisted living and memory care. There is no assisted living, there's no memory care here. We call it active adult living because there's a lot of activities. There'll be a theater, game room, salon. There's a lot of pool, exercise. So it's not somewhere that you go and you just go to an apartment. We want people to get out of their apartments and intermingle between themselves. That's the whole idea. It's a 55 and over community. The next portion of this property is housing, which is also 55 and over, which will go throughout the project. There are wetlands on this project, so it's not an efficient project, to be honest with you. We have to work around a lot of wetlands and other issues. What you're voting on tonight, they'll tell you, but I'll explain it. All you're voting is this has to be rezoned to allow for this. So the last few months, we've been going over what's called text to decide what I can do, what I can't do, what it's going to look like. So there's a lot of things that still have to happen, but we're trying to get, our plan is to be on an election in March, which is March 19th. If that zoning passes, which I hope it will, which would allow me to develop this, that's really a lot to happen still after that. I still have to go back to the city, show them final site plans, landscaping plans, elevations of buildings. So there's a lot to do, but the first step is to get rezoned. And that's what we're here for tonight.
Right. This is not approving the project. This is just about approving it getting on, the rezoning getting on the ballot, just to make it clear for everybody. Okay. Does anyone else have any questions or comments or anything in the general audience? No?
There will be meetings and you'll have opportunities to get more details before you vote.
Right. Before that, this is, again, just to get on the ballot. Should it get on the ballot, then after that, there'll be plenty of opportunity to learn a lot about it in detail, so you could decide whether or not you want to vote for it, should it be on the ballot.
But I think that
Okay.
Mr. Mandel already started raising.
Oh, someone was raising their hand? No?
You did.
Oh.
It's 1.5 acre, single-family residential. We have known for a long time and have in our master plan that.
Can you read into the mic?
A little higher density would be acceptable in our master plan. And what it's being zoned to is the ordinance that's before council tonight, which would allow for what he described. The one building, 9% retail, the housing, and then 38 acres would We're not changing the zoning on that. That would just stay dedicated green space in perpetuity.
Right.
You're not going to have to see pictures and more than what you're seeing tonight to know what it is. This is just to allow you to decide on it.
Phil and Kim? Yeah. I'm sorry, I should really make you, can you stand up here? I'm sorry, and speak into the mic, give your name and address. We'll do it the right way, yes. Sorry.
Mainberg got away with it.
Yeah, we let a cheat slip by.
You have 3850 Beachmont Oval. If the zoning passes, but this project doesn't go through, what then happens? Do new projects have to be voted on?
So if the zoning passes but new projects come through, I believe that any new project would have to be within that zoning. They would have to, would it have to, no. The question is no.
You're not voting on the project, you're voting on the zoning code.
Right.
And they're going to show you what they're going to do with it if you put that zoning code in.
What's going to be on the ballot in March?
The zoning code.
That would apply to
Once the zoning would be changed, then anybody could come in and do something.
that.
Yeah, yes, except for that, they still has to be approved by the village. It's not like anyone can just do anything. But yes, by zoning,
That's not a
yeah.
permit. That's just a blueprint for what you can do.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Mr. Bialis, yes?
I know that a lot of people haven't been at the presentations, but if you want, we do have a website for this project, and it's called livingwellcollection.com. All one word, livingwellcollection.com. So, but I will have other meetings to be more thorough on what we plan on doing, all pending the zoning. But you can ask any questions after the meeting if you'd like. I'll be here.
That's good. Anyone else? Questions, comments? Yeah, go ahead. Come on up to the mic. Give your name and address, please.
Jeremy Caldwell, 28899 Harvard Road. Will the residents of the village will there be independent analysis of what impact this will have on our safety forces, what our increased run volume will be with more elderly population requiring more EMS services? Will there be an analysis not by the developer but by someone independent so that the residents can make an educated decision on that?
I'm going to tell you what we did before Pinecrest came, and it's going to be up to Mayor-elect Klein to either follow this lead or not. But each department reviewed the project and wrote up quite detailed lists of things that were either going to impact their department, that was going to make them need more or less. There will be traffic studies, et cetera. So yes, every element will be examined, and in Pinecrest, for example, having done that, it played into our negotiation with how we allocated the funds that came out of it. So yes, every department, fire, police, service, will be evaluating it to let the new mayor know what their concerns or questions are.
But all of that is after zoning. So this is just about the zoning, but yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
If you have, if things that you don't think we're thinking of, let us know.
Thank you. Anybody else? No? Okay. If not, then I will close the public hearing. Thank you. I will now call the special meeting of December 6, 2023 to order. Everyone please stand for the pledge. Okay, Anna, please call roll.
Silver. Here. Perry. Here. Bilski.
Here.
Klein.
Here.
Vincent. Here. Duber.
Yes. Here.
Kurland.
Yes, here, all of that. Okay, I will make a motion to appoint Scott Lewis to the Planning and Zoning Commission for a 3-year term ending December 31st, 2026. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Vincent. Mayor, do you want to say anything?
Well, Scott's been a very productive and helpful member of the board for a number of years.
Not in the microphone.
We still Lewis has been a very productive and, what's the word, effective member of the Planning and Zoning Commission, and this time I see no reason why we wouldn't keep his skills and talents working for us.
Okay, excellent. Anna, please call roll.
Silver,
Yes.
Perry, Bilski,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Vincent, Duber,
Yes.
Yes. And the mayor will have to administer the oath of office to Mr. Dewis at the next planning and zoning meeting, as he is not here. Okay, I will make a motion to confirm the appointment of Vincent Zerlo as a part-time firefighter paramedic. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Duber. Not here.
No. Assistant Chief Genova's here tonight.
Come on up. Sorry about that.
That's quite all right. Good evening. Tonight, we have two candidates for confirmation. Before we get to that, just, our department does have a history of bringing on young and new green recruits that have, in fact, led to many full-time careers over the years. Both candidates fall into that category this evening and are at what we hope is the beginning of a long career in the fire service. First tonight, Vince, why don't you come on up? Want to introduce your wife? Vince has been a paramedic since 2022 with some previous fire department experience. He has obtained both his paramedic and fire certificates through the Tri-C programs and is actively pursuing a full-time firefighting job. Vince lives in Copley with his wife, Mandy. When asked in his interview what he thought his most important accomplishment was to date, he replied, meeting his wife.
Smart.
In his spare time, Vince enjoys music and playing the guitar. For your confirmation tonight, Vince Zerlo.
Thank you so much. And we have to call roll still, right?
Yes,
Anna,
we
please call
do.
roll. Can't remember if we did.
Silver,
Yes.
Perry, Bilski,
Yes.
Vincent, Duber,
Yes.
Kurland.
Yes.
We're going to do the oath of office now, so you're going to have to turn around, face me. Raise your, you want to take pictures? You can stand anywhere you want.
Larry, take it.
You got a photographer here with you tonight? Sure do. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I,
Full name.
Vincent Zerlo,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the rules, regulations, and charter of Orange Village,
the rules, regulations, and charter of Orange Village.
and that I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially
I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially
discharge my duties
discharge my duties
as a part-time firefighter paramedic
as a part-time firefighter paramedic
of Orange Village, State of Ohio,
of Orange Village, State of Ohio,
during my continuance in said office.
during my continuance in said office.
I'm going to hold you to it, okay? Welcome aboard. Do you want to pin the badge on him? And then you should just say hello to all the council people, shake their hand, and come sign this. What, I'm in the way? No.
Not right now.
You've been here 20 years, you should be able to sign it.
Wait, this is my picture.
Board.
Vince, congratulations, welcome aboard.
Thank you. Come aboard.
All the other photos I have to airdrop to you.
Congratulations, welcome aboard.
Full for framing. That's good. Okay.
Thank you.
Great. I will make a motion to confirm the appointment of Emily Gobriel as a part-time firefighter paramedic. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Klein? Assistant Chief?
Emily, come on up. Why don't you introduce who you brought with you tonight?
My father, Rami.
We'll call you when we need you.
He's gonna
Introduce the rest of your folks, huh?
Point him out.
Hey, everybody.
And this is my sister Marina, and my aunt Terry, my mother Melissa, and my little sister Daniela.
Who won't tell me how old she is?
You let it out of the bag. Emily lives in North Weldon, where she grew up with 5 siblings. She's the middle of 5 siblings. She enjoys baking crafts and is a cat lover. We'll try to fix that. Emily is probably the most excited person I've seen come across in recent memory about getting a fire job. Perhaps it's the exuberance of youth since she turned 21 just last Thursday.
Happy birthday.
Emily finished paramedic school, just finished paramedic school at UH program, and assures me that she's going to pass the exam. And she starts fire school next month. If you have a chance to talk to Emily, ask her how she accidentally found her way into this profession. And by the way, no relation to Officer Michael Gobriel.
Good spelling.
For your confirmation tonight, Emily Gobriel.
Excellent. Please call roll.
Silver,
Yes.
Perry, Bilski,
Yes.
Klein, Vincent,
Yes.
Duber,
Yes.
Kurland.
Yes.
If you want to take pictures, you can come stand anywhere you want.
Anywhere you like.
Nervous?
No.
Sure? I'll do this?
I do.
Okay, raise your right hand, repeat after
Or
me.
if you wanted, anywhere.
I state your full name.
I, Emily Gobriel,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the rules, regulations, and charter
the rules, regulation, and charter
of Orange Village,
of Orange Village,
and that I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially
and I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially
discharge my duties
discharge my duties
as a part-time firefighter paramedic
as a part-time firefighter paramedic
of Orange Village, State of Ohio,
of Orange Village, State of Ohio,
during my continuance in said office.
during my continuance in said office. Thank you.
And then shake their hands.
These people.
Yeah, these people. Up here.
No worries. You get your picture. I don't blame you.
Larry's got
Welcome aboard. Good luck on your test.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard, Emily.
Congratulations, families. You're welcome to stay. We love to have you stay, but
You, yes,
to
you
go.
might not want to. Yeah, but you're welcome to.
Thank you. If you want to take one. Thanks. Thank you. I'm in Freeman.
Don't leave here without that. It's the best part.
Get everyone away. Okay. I will make a motion to approve the special council meeting minutes of November 1st, 2023. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Klein, then. Any changes or corrections on this one? Anna, please call roll.
Silver,
Yes.
Perry. Yes. Bilski,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Vincent. Yes. Duber.
Yes.
Kurland.
Yes. November 8th, 2023, with a couple changes. Number 10, Mrs. Vincent is stated as Mr. Vincent. And Mr. Klein's comments did not include that he congratulated Phil Madden and Kim Ulner. These changes have been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Vincent. Any other changes or corrections? Please call roll.
Yes.
Yes.
Kurland.
Yes. I will make a motion to approve the treasurer's report for October 2023. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Duber. Mrs. Cavender?
Good evening. You have your monthly and year-to-date account activity for October. We have $15,210,000 in the bank. October revenue from all sources was $1,207,000. October expenses was $806,000. You also have the general fund revenue and expenditure line item report, and there was no variances worth noting. We were at 83% of the year, which is 10/12 of the year, and we collected 92% of our budgeted revenue for the general fund, and about 71% of our budgeted expenditures were spent through October.
Any questions? Anna, please call roll.
Silver? Yes. Harry? Yes. Bilski?
Yes.
Klein?
Yes.
Vincent? Yes. Duber? Kurland?
Yes. I will make a motion to approve the tax administrator's report for October 2023. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Klein.
Okay, so you have the tax administrator report that shows October collections, gross collections from all sources for income tax was $857,500, which is about $115,000 higher than October of 2022. And year-to-date, we exceed last year's numbers by $252,000. You also have a monthly flow chart showing our monthly collections for each month for the last 4 years, as well as the line item chart showing that we're pretty much on the same trajectory throughout this whole year in terms of our monthly collections.
Questions, comments? Anna, please call roll.
Harry? Yes. Bilski?
Yes.
Klein?
Yes.
Vincent?
Yes.
Duber?
Yes.
Kurland?
Yes. Now, to a discussion regarding Orange Village's approach to the legalization of marijuana in Ohio. Does anyone have anything that they'd like to say?
This is something that I brought up with the law director. Insofar as the law goes into effect as of tomorrow, I think it's important for us to consider a moratorium on building facilities in Orange Village until we have an opportunity to see how it works in other communities. And I'd like to propose that moratorium to last for a 5-year period so that we have sufficient time.
5 years?
5 years.
Okay. My sort of gut instinct on this is that 5 years is a long time, and we don't know. Maybe we should just, before we make any decisions, whether a moratorium or not, that we should just step back and see what's going to happen with this. From what I've never been to anything like this, but from what I'm told in other states where there are dispensaries, that they tend to be not seedy at all. They tend to be very nice and clinical and, clean and sort of, professional, I should say. So, I don't know that we should make any determinations in any direction until we really understand what we're talking about, because
The purpose of a moratorium.
I'm just curious. Oh, go ahead.
Would this require an ordinance, or how does this work legally?
If you were going to do a moratorium, you'd pass an ordinance.
So can you do 5 years, or is that a ban?
I'm just curious what the, not saying I'm in favor one way or the other, but just the purpose of the moratorium, I mean, in more specific terms.
The way that I'm looking at this is, I think it's appropriate for us to see what the difference between the medical and the recreational is significant. And that being said, I think it's important to see how it plays out in other communities where they've actually have those facilities, and to what extent they affect both the communities from the standpoint of social activity as well as financial activity for the community. Yeah,
Communities doing moratoriums, do you know?
Yes.
Okay.
I guess my,
you know, whether it's 60 months or whether it's something less than that, I think we just need some time to evaluate it and sit back and look and see what's happening around the region where this is happening.
Is the one in Woodmere open yet? Does anyone know?
Yeah, but that's
Been open.
but that's medical.
Well, it won't be tomorrow.
It become
But they will probably go over to recreational, but there's no standard yet for that. So, again, we don't have there's no track record.
Wait, Brent, can you explain that, Brent? The separation between medical and
you can't have this, generally speaking, it's like separate for recreational and medical.
California.
So it could have two entrances of the same place that go into different, whatever. There is separation.
Well, we don't know yet, everything.
Yeah. Does anyone else have any thoughts?
5 years sounds long to me.
Sounds really long to me. And it doesn't mean I'm for it. I mean,
Just pick the number.
well, why don't we pick a shorter number then we don't have to decide tonight, but we could pick a shorter number and it can always be renewed.
Right, that's fine. That's fine. I just think we ought to
There's
proceed
probably
that way.
probably enough data from other states, whether it's Colorado, Washington, et cetera,
Michigan,
Michigan or nation.
Yeah.
Illinois.
where I think all these
Wouldn't trust
stats,
California.
increased crime and stuff is I think readily available, in my opinion, for whatever it's worth. And I think that, our bigger issue is probably things such as hotels more than recreational marijuana or medical marijuana distilleries. But
I would agree with Brandon. I think there's probably a lot of information already available from a lot of other states where it's been up and running for some time. And I don't know if we have any one on the other moratorium cities around us or villages or towns that we can kind of look at what they might be doing or considering, or two, just is there anything that has come in front of council before? I don't recall during my time on council, but
We've done moratoriums before, but we can find out what other communities
your
are
mic.
doing it.
That's what brought this about. It already came
And it can
council
put it on
clerks, that some communities are already doing it. I already have information.
Oh, good.
That's what, I'm the one who brought it kind of to their attention.
I don't know.
Already doing the moratoriums or already doing the,
Well, one already did 12 months, one community, so.
But can we just open?
It was brought up that a survey went out.
Sorry, Steve, if we don't have a moratorium, can someone just open something?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think that the state has put, you may recall that when medical marijuana was authorized, the state had to put regulations into effect to license these places. I don't think the state has licensed the.
They're still writing the rules. They're making legislation.
I don't
to change
think,
it.
I don't think that a facility is going to open up next week, or whenever the law becomes effective.
Tomorrow.
I think if you pass a moratorium for 1 year to study the issue, that is a very common piece of legislation that's being.
not even missing out on anything if you have businesses wanting to come in, because by the time there's licensing and everything like that,
Be
there's-
over.
the
And you can always revoke it.
Well, then I'll propose a 1-year moratorium that can always be renewed.
I'll support that.
So should we?
it's not
Take a motion, or you just want to tell me to put together an ordinance for 1 year?
I'll make a motion.
Motion.
It's a motion to authorize the law director to draft legislation for 1 year. She can, but she can also.
I'll tell you what, because I feel like it. I'm going to make a motion to direct the law director to make legislation for Orange Village to have a 1-year moratorium on recreational marijuana use facilities
Facilities.
that sell.
He'll figure the language.
I second that motion.
Thank you. Whatever the motion was, it's been seconded. All right, very good.
Thank you.
And Anna will call. Oh, yes.
To study this during the year.
Do I need a second?
Going to fly by and we're going to be like into this.
like a working group.
Would you like to head a working group to study this?
That sounds like a volunteer.
Okay, my foot is coming out of my mouth.
Volunteering.
And if somebody else doesn't.
You know, the other concern I have with this, honestly, is that you're going to be pushing potential revenue sources away and into other communities. And even just the talk of a moratorium, I think, would give some hesitation to businesses that want to come into Orange Village.
Worried about those particular businesses.
I don't think any communities are
I don't,
courting these businesses.
That's why I just don't think it's necessary at the moment to have a moratorium on something that there's not even going to be any permits probably within the next year. So.
I understand what you're saying. I guess if it gives everyone a comfort level to study things first, then we can go with the comfort level.
The bill, the legislation that was enacted allows communities to locally control that. This is an opportunity that we have to sit back and and be more thoughtful about that process and make sure that we're doing what is best for Orange Village.
Steve, does it have to be seconded?
It was Brent, yeah.
Brent seconded it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry. I'm having a hard time hearing.
Bob, did you?
Yes, you can.
I know you guys are focusing on the dispensing side of things, but I would ask that you guys think as well too about municipal grounds and stuff like that. I'm specifically looking about controlling use in our park system and stuff like that. We've got rules there, so it's more than just a dispensing. We've got, you know, a number of areas, and just consider that in your discussion as well.
Yeah, that's a great point.
All prohibited in the park?
Yep, by the playground.
Only by the.
By the playground is where we have signs up, so, you know, my exact point and what you just brought up, what's stopping somebody from a resident walking down the trails and stuff like that? I'm not here on behalf of.
But you can, in theory, we can prohibit
Well,
cigarettes, marijuana, or anything.
Yes, you can prohibit that, so, you know, it's something to consider.
Yes.
And I guess sort of, you know, the park regulation sort of falls a little under my jurisdiction, so that's what I'm looking for here. You know, the rules, regulations that we have in our park are always up for discussion, so.
That could be part of the, certainly part of the, legitimate part of the study, Bob.
No, I think,
State law cover that as well. Like, you can't just, I'm assuming you can't just walk around smoking in public, don't
Yeah,
you?
I'm wondering what it's gonna be.
I don't know, I haven't read it.
Open alcohol containers.
Well, they'll have something like a Dora that,
Oh,
I
but
don't think anybody knows the answer.
Mr. Zugan, I think that's a really good point, and I think that we are gonna have to address that at some point.
I think in Seattle you can walk around smoking.
I think we're still at the point of Anna calling roll on.
You can walk around smoking.
been there, done that.
Yeah.
Silver,
yes.
Perry. Yes. Bilski,
Yes.
Klein. Vincent.
Yes.
Duber,
No.
Kurland.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Oh, are there any?
Audience comments, he's got his hand up.
Any audience comments related to agenda items? Oh, you want to come on up, Mr. Singer?
No, it's Mayor Singer.
Mayor Singer.
Sneak it.
You'll sneak it in. Speak into the microphone, please, and give us your name and address.
Madam Mayor, will you please come up to the table?
You want me to come up there?
But you got to say your name and address. We're going to make you.
My name is Norm Singer. I live in Harvard Road. My picture's on that wall.
I'm on that wall.
Hear you with not talking into the mic.
Let me tell you,
Are you taking credit or blame now?
I don't know. I meant to speak at the candidates night, but at that night I didn't have any hearing. But I'll say what I'm going to say right now. Many, many, many years ago, 40 years ago.
1984. 39 and a half years ago.
When I was mayor, I needed a tax administrator,
$50 a month, I was ready to go.
and she was ready to go. So I appointed this lady as tax administrator. And subsequent to that, she had the honor of being elected the mayor of Orange Village. And I will tell you, we all that are here that had a chance to vote for her, and all in the village that had a chance to vote for her, have a great deal of gratitude for all the years that you were with us.
That's nice.
Thank you. And I want to thank you for everything you've done for this community,
Even though we put the trails in?
even though you put the trails in. Well, I
Give me a
wasn't
hug.
against,
Give me a hug.
I wasn't against the sidewalk. Whatever you're gonna do, still do tax returns.
Just the free ones. Thank you, Norm.
Oh, that was very nice.
Story is true. Thank you. He started me.
Okay. All right, old business of pending legislation and motions. Ordinance 2023-16 as amended, an ordinance enacting the Orange Place South Plan Development District, OPSPDD, regulation and rezoning certain parcels of land to the OPSPDD, amending the village zoning map and map designation, submitting the proposed zoning changes to the voters of Orange Village and declaring an emergency. This is on for third reading. I will make a motion for the passage of ordinance 2023-16 as amended. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Klein. That's quick. Are there any questions or comments?
I do.
Okay.
So, I want to start by, I know Mr. Bialis a little bit, and some of his family, and my comments are not reflective of him or anything of that sort. I have personally no issues, objections whatsoever with the project that they're submitting in terms of what they do. The senior living community, I think it's great. I think it's a benefit. I don't have a problem with that. Where I struggle on this, and why I am going to be voting no, is the commercial districts on this. One of them being hotels. And I just think that we already have a lot of problems with hotels in Orange. We don't want to turn into Rockside Road, and when I look at some of the restaurants that are proposed, it's Carrabba's and Outback, and that's just not Orange Village. If you look at Pinecrest, I think they've done a nice job, and again, this isn't that, you know, he is not doing a good job, but it's not what I personally see as Orange Village. I see it as Beechwood. I see it as Independence, and I think it's great the use of all the land that's going to be, you know, donated or conserved. And again, I have no problem with the senior living facilities. You know, as was kind of brought up before, the problem you have when you change zoning is you can't undo it. And we've seen this before, and, you know, who knows if this project were not, you know, anything can happen. There could be another pandemic. Who knows what's going to happen? And I just worry about changing so much residential zoning in Orange. That who knows what's going to happen? You know, and then I guess, you know, coinciding with that, I also have a problem voting yes on something like this, especially with the commercial zones or commercial district where there's not already a plan in place to increase our budget and personnel for safety services. I think it's, you know, unfortunately, police officers and firefighters are very hard to come by these days for a multitude of reasons. And I think without a solid plan in place, because I think if we're not forward thinking on this, there's going to be projects, there's going to be other commercial, you know, businesses that come in, but we're not going to have, we're going to be behind the 8 ball here and not have the proper allocation of safety forces, you know, whether it's personnel-wise or budgetary, to really take care of this and make sure that Orange remains this, you know, safe, wonderful community that it currently is. So, you know, I know that there's another proposed hotel as well, or allowed hotel, you know, in the residential zone. So in theory, there's already.
I don't think that's true.
Yeah. The Randy, the. where the old motel, yeah. So, you know, this would be a second, you know, allowable hotel in Orange, and I don't see where we need it, and it doesn't fit Orange Village. We're gonna lose our identity, and again, really like the project for the actual conservation of land for the senior living facility, but it's everything else that I just don't like. And it's a small portion of it, I know, but that has a large impact. And I think most of the cost, we can't look at it, well, we're gonna get these tax revenue and the extra dollars, and we can use that towards safety services, and then what? We're looking at a wash, but we still end up, I think, losing money on these things. And I think we've learned some lessons with Pinecrest. Not that Pinecrest isn't great, and I think we've done a good job, but there's been, I think, a little bit of catching up in terms of what our needs are, you know, from a service standpoint, a police standpoint, fire standpoint. So I think without too much planning in advance of that, and again, with just allowing hotels and you know, a little bit of generalities in terms of entertainment districts, I cannot support this. Just my opinion.
He's a Gugazant. Health, whatever. Does anyone else have any comments?
Good points. I was thinking the same thing, that I like the senior living aspect, but I don't like those restaurants. We've worked very hard to make everything that we have made commercial be at a higher standard than those kind of restaurants that are being proposed. So I agree with you.
Reiterate something that Mayor Mulcahy said earlier, when we're not voting on the project itself, we're voting on the zoning. And
But the ordinance too, to take out hotels, I don't know if that will ruin the project or not.
I mean, my,
Voting on the project itself, but that's the problem. If we were voting on the project being the senior living facility, I'm all in. If we're voting for the rezoning of land that who knows what is going to happen, you go bankrupt. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen, but like, who knows what can happen. But again, once you change the zoning, you can't undo that. And then anybody can come in who fits those uses and put anything there.
I would like to, I was sort of half stated, I would like to give the opportunity to our residents and voters to have a say in what the zoning is for that, and see where they are before we decide whether the project is good as is or isn't good. I just would like that to be a decision that the voters have a chance to make.
Decision for the voters, but I think that we as council, our job is to look at some of these things that voters don't necessarily either understand or pay attention to, some of these other aspects. They might look at it as just Omni, or hey, we're gonna have some commercial stuff, but not really understand the impact financially and personnel wise, that this can have on the village. So I think it's our job to scrutinize these things before it goes to the voters in order to find something that we think is appropriate for the village. That's what we're elected to do. And then the voters can go ahead and figure out if that's something they agree with or not. But I think just a blanket throw to the voters is irresponsible on our part.
Wait.
There is going to be a plan in place. I agree, we shouldn't just vote on something that doesn't have a plan on it, but isn't there going to be a plan in place?
There will be a plan before they vote, but we're talking about just getting it on the ballot, right? Okay, but wait, hold on.
Can't vote.
Okay, wait, just hold on, Brandon. Wait, first, let Mr. Klein say something, and then Mr. Bialis is gonna say something.
To begin with, the group that put together the zoning package for this project has worked very long and very extensively to try to craft a zoning ordinance that gives us the best opportunity for success for this project. It includes some commercial because some of the economics of this project necessitate that. We've also looked at and tried to very carefully in the zoning sections that address uses to control what those uses are and how they are presented. There's stuff that you've obviously seen in some of the previous submissions that have come through the public hearings that we've had with council and introduction of the project, of some of the concepts for some of the retail and other uses in there. They are essential to the ability of the developer to extend to the village the open space that we so desperately want to ensure we have for the future of this community. The retail, commercial, whatever it may be, is, while it's only 9 or 10% of the land use, it is important to the developer to have that opportunity to make this project workable to facilitate what we ultimately want here. Beyond that, we've spent a lot of time talking about restaurant types, business types, uses for the commercial part of the project. And those will be filtered as the project moves forward. They will not just be thrown at us, and we have to accept them. But we want to work with the developer, and we have encouraged them to look at some business types to consider bringing to Orange Village. And what's really important, that we as a community have to play a role in working with developer to identify the businesses that we want to see come here and help them bring them here, and not just say, whatever shows up, shows up. And we're going to be doing that.
That's what I'm doing right now, is I'm doing that. I'm saying that. I'm giving my opinion of what I think should be here. And I'm not saying, again, I'm not saying, oh, I hate this whole thing, it should go away, and like, this isn't a discussion. What I'm saying is we should work with the developer, in my opinion, for whatever it matters, for 1.5 more meetings, to eliminate some of these things that are a high cost and high question marks in terms of,
Got rid of drive-throughs.
Well, yeah, but I think this is, and I don't know what kind of financial impact not having a hotel has on your project, but
Can you do it
Wait,
without-
wait, Mr. Bialis,
I
do
don't
you
even know
want to?
that it will be a hotel. It's just, it's an option.
I understand it's
Brandon?
an option, but once we say yes, and it goes on the ballot, and the voters say yes, then it's more than just an option.
Right.
Do it without a hotel?
Wait, come
Let's
speak
let
at the-
Mr. Bialis.
Well, first, let me say that I don't know if you all read the text or not. We spent months working on this text back and forth. It's not, you're not just voting to rezone it. You're voting to rezone it with, I think it's 30 pages of requirements. Setbacks and types of building, the height of buildings, amount of landscape. So there's a 30-page text that we have to abide by. If we didn't move ahead, whoever else, and we are going to move ahead, but you say, well, somebody doesn't, they have to abide by the same text. Now, will we have a hotel? I don't know. It's one of the items that we agreed to. I mean, we met with Planning Commission 2-3 times, Council many times, separate committees many times, and that's one of the items we put in there. There's a lot of other things that kept getting cut back. So I don't really want to say I'm not going to have a hotel. You know, hotel companies, as you know, they have to do their own studies to determine whether it even will make sense. I mean, we know there's a lot of hotels out there. I'm not saying there isn't. There's hotels have closed. But I just don't want to cut off the possibility of some type of hotel. So that's my answer.
There's another point to be made, that we have another bite at this apple, Brandon, and it's called the development agreement. And that is yet to be worked through at this point. Some of these things can be identified through the development agreement to control or limit what some of those things might be. And we've done this before. We did it in the Pinecrest project, in controlling different aspects of it that weren't necessarily identified in the zoning text, but they offer us some comfort zone in some of the things that you're expressing concern about.
But we did do that, and we, again, once you're allowing something such as a hotel, and we can, they can come, and you know, this happened with the jury. I think that the jury,
We had no choice on the hotels in Sugar Land.
I'm saying this was a very big discussion that we had about the jury, that, oh yeah, we're bringing this great boutique-y kind of hotel chain. it's gonna be high-end and all that, and I think that, exactly, it's not. And so my concern is with any of these hotels, these different concepts of, you know, hotels, I mean, if you say that it's only allowed to have a Ritz-Carlton, cool, fine. But just when it's a rezoning that's allowing a hotel when, even if we have some say in it, it opens the door. Say if it's, you know, say if a Ritz-Carlton goes in, but then the economy tanks, the Ritz-Carlton goes, guess what? It's zoned and the Holiday Inn can go in there. And we all know that even though all of us up here could say, oh, no, we're not letting out the Holiday Inn, well, guess what? There could be a court battle on that because they could say it's zoned, they're allowed to go there. We've had this discussion about other pieces of property in Orange before. So again, my concern isn't necessarily about what goes in now, it's what goes in next. And I think that's the type of forward thinking that everybody here on council has to have on these projects that are so major when you're changing rezoning from 1.5 acre residential to, you know, these other type of zoning. So again, I have no problem with the actual senior living facility. It's my biggest qualm here is the hotel and the financial repercussions and personnel repercussions that Orange Village has by one of those coming in. If there's a way to do it and get rid of the hotel, and, you know, I'm all for that. Again, I love the conservation of the land, and I think that's fantastic. I think that we would be foolish to allow another hotel when, again, there's another one that's zoned, you know, just across the street, essentially. I think that would be foolish of us.
Ended to eliminate hotels from.
But we can discourage it.
As a permitted use, or to
Address it.
I don't want to sit here and just
But
make
I
a
wanna-
motion to amend it if it's not something that works, you know.
No, we
like-
need to see what, okay, well, let's see what, okay, Mr. Bialis, how does that affect your plans?
Does Mr. Finley want to speak?
Anyone else?
We don't know if we have a hotel, but it's one of the items we talked about that we'd like to have. If a hotel wants to come here, you know, I'm not saying they do, I don't know yet. But, you know, Mr. Duber talked about what thing no one talked about, was that other than getting a park for 37 acres, if you look at the taxes based on home values and property values and people working, and the city's got this study, they will be contributing over $800,000 a year in taxes to the village, and $2 million a year to the schools with no students, because the whole project's 55 and over. So I know you're concerned with taxing the fire department or police department. You are going to have $800,000 a year.
Yeah, but that goes to a lot of different things, and people look sometimes of adding a police officer as a police officer's salary, which is not what that is. It's adding a police car, it's adding a uniform, it's adding cameras, it's adding all the smorgasbord of lights and whatnot that goes with that. It's adding lockers, and then we run out of space in the locker room, then we have to expand the police locker room, then we have to expand the structure of the building, and these are all the things that we're kind of looking at right now. And so I have concerns that we're not forward-thinking enough on this, maybe as a village and in partnership with you on this, to say, yeah, we can do this with a hotel. Hotels are, and I think that anyone in our police administration would agree, it's the number one source of our calls and our personnel time. Would you agree with that, Mayor?
Yeah, I don't think the police would be eager about another hotel.
It doesn't sound. I mean, I just,
But,
in my conversations with police officers and the chief, I just.
but if it was there, they would.
Into the microphone, please.
Deal with it, because that's what they do, but why would we, I just don't know why we'd put ourselves in another position like that right now. If we had 2 hotels to Orange, which would be possible then, I just don't see this as.
Well, the question is, will you go forward with it if we take the hotels out?
I don't really want to, no. I mean, I don't know I have a hotel, but we've worked, I don't know how many months on this, and I think I in a lot of things, and I thought that was one we agreed to would be okay.
Well, I guess I understand Mr. Duber's concern for the future. I mean, their plan is, and if you've seen any of their facilities, they're pretty high-end. The plan is to keep things as high-end as possible. And I understand what you're talking about for the future, but none of us have a crystal ball, so, you know.
Something good. Have to give up something to accomplish
We've done, but you could,
the good thing.
you would have been able to say that the jury was in that certain type of hotels, and it's garbage. And a lot of these hotels are how they're run. It's not just it's
The brand.
yeah. I mean, it's
Well, if we move forward on this to put it as is on the ballot, that doesn't speak to what the development agreement's gonna be, which could really address those things. Right, well, sometime, right.
That you could like restrict what kind, you know, no.
See a Holiday Inn Express.
fine until the economy tanks and other hotel brands want to come in.
Take it out now and add it back later.
Yeah, it's better to take it out now, and then if they come in with a hotel that's fabulous, like Ritz-Carlton, you can add it, put it back in.
Okay, so how about
That
that?
that would have to go back to the voters again, though, right? If we take it out of the language that they're rezoning,
Remember that the voters vote on the change of district. They don't, although the text doesn't go into effect unless and until the voters put the property into the district, the voters are not voting on the text of the document. So you could amend it at the table to remove hotels, motels tonight, at a later date, put it back in, potentially.
But I'm not comfortable amending it to take out hotels if that's not something that financially works for them, where maybe they have to think of something else that would go in that place. So, you know,
Well, the thing is,
Time is of the essence.
I know.
their option runs out, the ballot, if we don't vote on it next week, it won't make the ballot in March. So there's gonna have to be a lot of working after the fact with the development agreement and through the process. I think we should make a motion, take out hotels.
Well, I made the motion already to pass it. You wanna make a motion, you wanna take, I mean,
I mean, I'm not voting for it the way it is, so.
Make
let's
a
just
motion to take the hotels out.
do it.
When will you
I'm
vote
not-
for it?
You're the one promoting it.
Like I said, I have concerns about some of the restaurant discussions here, because that's not Orange Village, but
So your choice to vote for it, like it is, or vote for it without hotels.
Never been involved in any of the discussion on it. Comes in it. So.
I think if we change the wording now to take out hotels that we could possibly put back in, is that something, I mean, how does that affect where you are?
Well, if you're taking it out, then it's not allowed.
Right.
We can put it back in later, they're saying.
Bring us a Ritz-Carlton and we'll see.
How about that? Why don't we, you know what, just so that we can get it on the ballot, why don't we take that one aspect out, and then if you bring us something that's awesome, then I think you can convince us to bring it back in. Take audience comments?
Are we doing comments?
I don't know if we're taking audience comments right now.
Family?
The boss.
That other guy.
Or you can vote on it.
Okay. Well, you know what, hold on, let's, as long as we have people who have serious things to say, why don't we have,
That other gentleman too.
come on up to the microphone, Mayor Singer.
Nope.
You gotta get to the microphone, because otherwise it won't be on the recording. Was there somebody else also?
He had his hand up.
Okay.
Question that I asked Gary, Gary and I go back a long,
The microphone.
Gary and I go back a long time.
I have to do that. Oh.
Why does this Vitalia have to have retail? The others in the area do not have retail.
because of how much the land costs.
And they're more dense.
You know,
Different setup.
heard this argument many times, many years ago, that the project can't go unless we have this and this. In some respects, it's a little bit like a blackmail thing. You know, many, many, many years ago, Kathy was around then, we were supposed to have nursing home facilities in that location. It was right before the 90s when the real estate market went to hell. Okay? My point is, I think I hear what they're saying, but I'm wondering, is there a little bit of a haste to get this on the March ballot?
Yes, this is a big rush to get on the March ballot. The problem, the real-life problem is that they don't have an option on the land past March.
Right.
You know what, that land's been in the Weintraub family for 100 years.
I know.
And maybe they can, and so Weintraub doesn't have too many people standing in line to buy that property. So maybe they can go to him and see if he'll extend their option.
Weintraub family member who's here right now would like to.
Wait, let's,
Look, listen, I'm not trying to ruin this project. I'm
Not either, by the way.
I'm just not okay with this.
let's,
Just think it's a little bit,
okay, let's see if,
by the way, I almost bought this property 60 years ago.
seeing if you had, look what you could have made.
Almost only counts on horseshoes.
Okay, I don't want to go into those details.
On campus coming up.
And I don't know why.
Tom Lowenkamp, 3850 Beachmont Oval. So a question I have is, how will the voters be educated that if you are voting for this, you are voting for another hotel and you're voting for...
Their job to do over the next 3 months is to sell it to the public. If they don't sell it, you don't see it, if you don't get your questions answered, it doesn't pass.
Well, they're going to try and sell it, but then how is the Orange government going to be educating the voters that if you vote for this, you are voting for another hotel and you're voting for Carrabba's? I'm trying to reconcile that you spent all that time on marijuana and what that would do to the community versus another hotel. We look at what the hotels do to Beechwood, right across the street from us, and
Burn
Carrabba's.
Orange.
So I'm just trying to reconcile that.
Well, here's how. Everything we do is public record, and the zoning code itself is in English, and it's readable, and we can pass that out to everybody. I'm hoping the developers will do what others have done, which is bring renderings of what they're planning to do. That is the real-life interpretation of what the zoning code does. Or you can call anybody up and sit down and talk about it. Everything's available. It just, we don't go to each person's door and tell them.
I'm not asking for door to door. I'm just trying to understand. This is a big decision, and we started off with saying, well, you're just voting for zoning.
Right.
Well, no, we're voting for zoning
That allows something,
that allows for another hotel or a motel, and that allows for McDonald's. So
to show what they're gonna do to the voters.
It doesn't.
Does not allow for
okay,
that.
Carrabba's.
We got rid of drive-throughs.
Okay, so Carrabba's. I mean,
Everything has been presented publicly to everybody to view, the renderings and kind of the list of names even of the retailers and the.
Put that packet on the website.
That'd be a good idea. That'd be great.
We put everything on the
Yeah.
website. We put,
He just needs to back up.
The name's in
oh,
here.
yeah, no, right. Oh,
Nothing.
right, there's nothing set.
It's
and don't get me wrong, I'm all for 55 and older homes. I'm all for 55 and older housing, but it's all the things that are attached to this that
Get the 38 acres.
38 acres that we're,
absolutely.
Honestly, we'll get that.
I think that this is
we gotta
a project.
And it's not a very dense project because it is on wetlands, so they have to have,
pick it,
you know,
and we have to give the developer
they have other things.
both them.
Right, is there anyone else who wants to put 2 cents in? Come on up. Name again.
Yes, please, I didn't catch
Be at least 5 cents. At least 5 cents.
I give you a quarter, and it has to be up here a little bit.
That mic-
Yeah, can I? Oh, thank goodness. Back, yeah. All right, now everyone can. Jeremy Caldwell, 28899 Harvard Road. It seems like a great plan, but as I can tell you just from my daughter's lemonade stand and everybody running around, my dog jumping up and down in front of their face, when they go by my house and we talk about it, I think it's going to be a lot of the same sentiments that Brandon's saying there is that, yeah, I'm cool with the housing thing, and I'd hate for it to all just get shot down over a fear of a of a Carrabba's, is there going to be an ability for the voters to have, is it an all or nothing deal? Is there a way to make this work? If they say, no, I don't want, the possibility of a Beechwood End or an extended stay getting there, another Sergeant Doublejack situation of one of our officers, and they're afraid of that, and out of that fear, it gets voted down. There's a lot of things that I think people like about it, but there are some real concerns that if you have your pulse on what the voters want, they're going to have some concerns about it.
Legitimately so, they should, and they should come see what it is. This is how we've gone through it in the other projects too.
Okay.
Gotta know everything about it before you vote.
Right. I mean, they'll be before, once it's on the ballot, doesn't mean it's passing. I mean, everyone will be given as much information as we have. And,
So I'm just posing the question again, can you guys do this without a hotel?
At this time, I'd say no. The only thing I can do, if we eliminate the hotel, we don't have any contracts with any hotels. We have nothing. And somebody mentioned extended stay. It specifically says in the
No, it says, no, you can't do an extended stay.
All right, you'll try your best, right?
Right. Yeah.
Well, you have no choice.
A choice. And the one thing, and I know you don't want to hear this, I said this once before and I got reprimanded, was the only way sometimes things work because of the cost of projects, and it's not the land, there's wetlands, there's sanitary, there's a lot of issues with this project. That's why it's been around for so long, is we could put more housing on it, but where housing's going to go, the park goes down. And I don't want to, I'm not threatening that, but if you're telling me I can't have a hotel, which I don't even know if I have one, but it's another option for us, I'd have to take away from the park.
If you tell me that you're going to get rid of all the commercial stuff and you're going to put in another 10 acres of the residential portion, I'll vote for it right now.
Yeah, but it still doesn't work. Economics don't work, and economics is what drives this project for us.
Understood, but there's certain economics that don't work, in my opinion, for Orange Village. I think that the village is still scarred a little bit from some of the incidents that happen at the hotels here. And there's, again, most of our crime, most of the drugs, the guns, all that stuff is all in hotels. And hotels by freeways are even worse. And I think that we'd be setting our police forces, our safety services up for a situation that we shouldn't be putting them in with the addition of something like that. If you have, Stretch Lab and Lululemon and stuff like that, that's commercial I'm fine with. Okay, some of this other commercial, it's not,
Okay, so here's my proposal. My proposal is for now, take hotels out. If you get a great, that doesn't mean you can't talk to hotels. If you get a great, amazing, whatever, you get the highest end hotel there is and say, listen, this is what I've got, then we can work with that possibly. But right now, just so we can move forward, I think we need to take hotels out.
We're not doing this in hey, let's shut Brandon up and we'll take out hotels and then we're going to add them back in later, because that would be irresponsible of every single person. Yeah, I'll be
wait a minute, that's not the way.
Again, I'm just saying that would be irresponsible of everybody on this council if that's what we're doing here.
Okay, but I'm not doing that because I don't have any interest in shutting you up. This is not shutting you up. This is taking what you're saying into account. No, I want to say it on the record. I am taking what you're saying into account and just leaving a slight opening for the developers should they come up with something that's going to just make the deal with the big ribbon on it. Okay? So is that good? So let me amend what I said. Okay.
Let me tell you, if you were going to do that, you would want to amend section 1174. Excuse me.
Point what?
Our planners in the audience.
Oh.
Mark is here.
You keeping up, Mark? Keeping up with the discussion?
We're amending 1174.04 to
Schedule 1174.
hang on. 1174.04I, adding a new subsection 22 in terms of prohibited uses. We would be adding hotels and motels. And then the amendment would also be in Schedule 1174.05. There's currently hotel, and in parentheses excluding extended stay. As I understand the proposal, we would be eliminating that as a permitted use from that schedule.
You have this written down, I hope.
Can you clarify, if we were to do that and passed it, what would the voters be voting on in March?
Just voting on whether or not this property, the Weintraub property, would be placed into the district. And council would continue to have authority over the uses within the district.
So if at that point, and I know I'm the cart before the horse on this one, but if at some point they said, we've got the Intercontinental hotels coming in, would that have to go back to the voters again, or?
No, because you're permitted to change the text without a vote of the residents. The thing that requires a vote of the residents is a change to the map, a change to the district in which property is zoned.
Okay.
Can I make one comment?
Yes.
On hotels, is there a way you can do a condition, I know you don't like conditional uses. Conditional use for a hotel, which gives you the right to say,
What are you saying? I can't hear.
okay, there's a thing called conditional use.
We don't have the structure in our ordinance for that.
You don't.
And it would be possible to later amend the code. I would recommend that we do that after the vote of the people.
Then that would give you,
That's true.
you can say, I want this, I want that, I can't have that.
You're not going to get that tonight. We can't go through that exercise this evening and amend the code to get that.
Okay.
Okay.
So my recommendation is if you want to pass the ordinance as is to permit the motels and hotels, you do that. Otherwise, take a motion to amend the ordinance the way I described it, see how that vote goes, and then pass the ordinance.
Okay. I'm going to make a motion to amend ordinance 2023-16 as suggested by Steve Byron. Do I have a second? What we're doing is this, we're amending what we currently have to remove hotels for now.
And motel.
Okay,
Who did? Duber?
Mr. Duber did.
Okay.
Okay. Does everyone understand what we did? Are we all on the same page?
Can you repeat it again, please?
What we're doing is we're amending the ordinance per this discussion to exclude hotels and motels from the language currently in the zoning.
So when we vote, are we voting on the proposed change, or are we voting on?
First, we have to vote on,
That's the change. That's all we're voting on right this
Thank you.
minute. Okay. So, Anna, please call roll.
Silver?
Yes.
Harry? Bilski?
Yes.
Klein? Yes. Vincent?
Yes.
Duber?
Yes.
Kurland?
Yes.
Okay, now I'm so confused.
That's a motion to adopt, which is already pending. Yeah, adopt as amended.
Okay, so we did it, so,
As amended?
okay, so now I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance 2023-16 as amended. Thank you, Mr. Silver. Anna, please call roll.
Silver?
Yes.
Perry?
Yes.
Bilski?
Yes.
Klein?
yes.
Vincent? Duber?
No.
Kurland?
Yes.
Still said no.
Okay, I think that's where we are for now.
I understand.
Thank you.
I understand.
Thanks for your time. All right, we're moving on.
Procedurally, we'll get the ordinance to Anna tomorrow for signature. And, yes, and after it's signed, we'll have to make arrangements for somebody to get it down to the Board of Elections.
It used to be Tom Shields' job.
Okay.
I don't know who's replacing.
Won't be me. We'll figure it out.
All right, now we'll move on.
I have to bring something down there anyway. So.
Ordinance repealing Chapter 149 reward funds of the codified ordinances of Orange Village. This is on for third reading.
Where are we?
Okay, I will make a motion for passage of ordinance 2023-18. Do I have a second?
Second it.
Thank you, Mrs. Perry. Questions, comments? No? Okay, Anna, please call roll.
Silver,
Yes.
Perry, Bilski,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Vincent,
Yes.
Duper,
Yes.
Kurland.
Yes. Okay. Ordinance 2023-23, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Stephen L. Byron and Singerman Mills Desberg and Cons, LPA, for legal services beginning January 1st, 2024 and ending December 31st, 2024, confirming the appointment of Stephen L. Byron as law director and declaring an emergency. This is on for second reading.
Second?
I don't think,
Oh, wait. No, we're not doing anything.
we're not doing anything till next week.
That's okay.
The enthusiasm.
I like him. All right.
Love you, man.
Now, an ordinance appointing Blair M. Melling as the prosecutor of Orange Village, providing compensation for the prosecutor and declaring an emergency. This is on for second reading. Okay. New business. Ordinance 2023-25, an ordinance approving and confirming the appointments of Stephen Havansek, and can't speak, and Associates as Orange Village engineer and repealing certain ordinances and declaring emergency. This is on for a first reading. Okay, and now we're on to an ordinance amending the annual appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of Orange Village during the calendar year ending December 31st, 2023. This is on for first reading. The administration is requesting a suspension of the rules, so I will make a motion to suspend the rules for ordinance 2023-26. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Vincent. Anna, please call roll on suspension.
Silver,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Bilski, Klein,
Yes.
Vincent,
Yes.
Duber,
Yes.
Kurland.
Yes. I will now make a motion for the passage of ordinance 2023-26. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Klein. And does Mrs. Cavender or the mayor want to speak about this at all? No? Mayor?
What?
No one want to speak about why we're doing this?
Well, yeah, I'll let Dana do it, because she,
This is the 2023 final budget, so this is the finalized numbers. Most of them are reduced to be more close in line to what we're actually anticipating spending for the year. So you have estimates throughout the year, and we make adjustments as we go along. So this is just the final adjustment for year end.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, anyone have any questions? Please call roll.
Silver,
Yes.
Perry, Bilski,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Vincent, Duber,
Yes.
Kurland.
Yes. Okay, ordinance, the next is an ordinance, ordinance 2023-27, an ordinance to make the annual appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of Orange Village during the calendar year of 2024. This is on for first reading. Administration is requesting suspension of rules, so I will make a motion to suspend the rules for ordinance 2023-27. Do I have a second?
Second it.
Thank you, Mrs. Perry. Anna, please call roll on suspension.
Silver, Perry, Bilski,
Yes.
Klein, Vincent,
Yes.
Duber,
Yes.
Kurland.
Yes. Okay, I will make a motion to pass ordinance 2023-27. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Klein? Mrs. Cavender, you want to say anything about this?
They tell you to stay.
You're getting your steps in.
Yes. This is the 2024 budget. This is the first step for the year 2024, setting our estimates for the beginning of the year.
Anyone have any questions?
Also, the Finance Committee unanimously recommends to council to pass the budget. Looking at it.
All right, Anna, please call roll.
Silver,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Bilski,
Yes.
Klein, Vincent,
Yes.
Duber,
Yes.
Kurland.
Yes. All right. Audience comments related to matters which advance the good of the village. Are there any other audience comments related to matters which advance the village of the good of the village? Since we already spoke to our former mayor. No? Anyone else have anything to say? Okay. We will move on to comments by the mayor.
There are still a couple of openings for Santa's delivery, but we also have several openings for the Hanukkah delivery. Tomorrow is the last day to sign up. It's a fun activity. Don't miss it. Paper shredding will be on next Friday, the 15th, from 9 a.m. until noon. This time it's at the Pepper Pike City Hall. Hopefully everyone has received their 2024 calendars and 2023 Pinecrest coupon books.
It's not just Pinecrest.
Oh, all right, all stores in the village, you're right. Right. Orange for the Holiday coupon book. It's a good one. Look for it in the mail, and don't forget to use it and sign up for the raffles, which are exclusive to Orange Village residents only. And I just wish everyone a happy Hanukkah, and I will have more to say next week.
I bet you will. All right. So I don't know. I was sitting with the police officers recently, and an interesting thing came up. It turns out that the Courtyard Inn, speaking of hotels, has a number of 911 hang-ups a year, like extra, and it has something to do with the way their phone system works, that they have had 151 911 hang-up telephone calls since January 1st of 22, which seems a bit excessive. Every time the 911 is called, even if it's hung up, police have to go to the Courtyard Inn and make sure that it's not something bad happening. So there is already something in our code about nuisances, or, when you cause extra, basically they're wasting resources. False alarms.
From
Hotel rooms. What happens is, apparently it has to do with their phone system, and there's something about the way that it's an easy button to accidentally hit, and so a lot of times when they're cleaning the rooms or whatever. So my understanding is that we've talked to them numerous times, and this is the Courtyard, and that they know that it's a problem, and they have, so maybe we already have in our code that it's a $50 charge after the first 3.
We've used it before.
I think that maybe to incentivize them, I'm suggesting, in order to incentivize them to fix their telephone system, so that we're not wasting our resources, that we should perhaps charge them the fee for 2023.
We'll see.
So
Yeah.
I think that's something to talk to the chief and you about.
Okay.
So that's,
We have used it before, but I don't know about this particular circumstance.
but I think 151 is a lot. So that's why I'm bringing it up. And besides wishing everyone a happy Hanukkah who celebrates, that's all I got. Mr. Duber?
Zugan, the lights look good around here. Good job.
That's Prince Zugan, by the way.
Sorry.
Prince Zugan.
Sorry, Your Highness.
Yes.
Are we, do you know, I don't know if we discussed this before, are we getting a bunch of Eclipse glasses for the community? I know that some.
What kind of glasses?
Clips. That's in April, that's the new mayor.
I don't know anything about it.
A couple communities are getting.
Well, for the eclipse, yeah, it's
The Eclipse,
told me about,
the Eclipse glass.
Clips.
yeah, in April, right?
That's April, isn't it?
Sell out glasses and stuff like that, so I just think it would maybe be a good benefit.
When
for-
is the solar eclipse?
April.
April 8th.
I remember as a kid making box cameras to do that.
Yeah, that's what we do.
I don't know, just a thought, I think it'd be a good benefit for the residents to maybe look into that, mayor
We're
and.
not looking to it? Sorry, there's,
Mayor and future mayor,
Some cities are
that's all.
charging for areas to watch.
Mr. Silver.
We had our first big snowstorm of the year last week, and I'm told the service department did a great job. I didn't leave the house that day, but I'm told they did a great job clearing the road, so well done there. I know there was discussion offline about moving council meetings next year to a little bit earlier to 7 o'clock, with finance being at 6:15 on those days. Just want to make sure everyone,
I'm now totally fine with it.
not talking to you.
You have to pass an ordinance.
Yeah, I know. Just before we get there, I just want to make sure everyone's on board with that. No one has any issues with it. Phil and Kim as well, moving the council meetings to 7 o'clock. Okay.
I'll say the council-elect people look very serious.
I will make a motion to authorize the law director to amend the ordinance changing the council meeting start times. Did I do that right?
That's right.
Okay.
Get it.
It's section 11,
Let's see if it passes.
111.01, and it's to change it to 7 o'clock PM, correct?
Clock, sure.
Anna, please call roll.
Oh, Lord.
We're not doing a motion, no. Oh,
Wait, am I calling roll or not?
Authorizing him to amend the ordinance.
Ask him to do it.
Just ask him to do it.
Silver, it's confusing. Silver,
Democratic around here.
Perry,
Yes.
Bilski,
Yes.
Klein. Yes. Vincent. Duber,
Sure.
So late.
Lund.
Yes. All right, is that all?
I have one more comment. So, Election Day was about a month ago. I was not here on Election Day. I was out of town, full disclosure, so I did not witness any of this. But I had a number of residents mention to me that they were rather uncomfortable coming up here to vote on Election Day. Some of them felt they were ambushed by candidates getting out of their car, walking from the...
Every election.
It was,
Let me finish, please. Walking from their car into the building. They felt intimidated, and just a general feeling of uncomfortableness. I know some of them mentioned that some of the parking up front was taken up by candidates' cars. I think we can do better than that. I know my timing is bad here, 'cause there's not another election for 2 years for council or mayor, but we can't have our residents feeling uncomfortable when they're coming to vote in person. And I think we all need to keep in mind that when they get out of their car and they're walking in here, their mind is pretty much made up who they're voting for, and whether or not they get another candy bar in their hand or a piece of literature from a candidate, it's not changing anyone's mind as they're walking in. So I'll try and bring this up again in 2 years. But I think it's just something for
I understand, and I want to say this first. I think to say about the parking, I made a point, let me just say that I'm the only candidate that made a point of parking at the far end.
Okay, so,
It felt like it was taking their own spot.
well taken, this is true every election, but
I'm
if it's
sorry.
not if it's not the local candidates, it could be county people. I mean, there's always going to be people out there. But from a candidate standpoint, I do think I'm going to tell you right now, I bet Kim Ulmer won because she was standing out there all day long. I think it makes a difference.
There's a difference between standing out there making your presence known and making voters feel uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah, you shouldn't jump on them.
I agree.
Yeah, of course.
And uncomfortable were used to me.
Yes, and
Problem.
we can talk, I mean, more detail offline if you want, because I know what that was, because I was there all day, and it was not me.
This is not the time to point fingers.
I understand, I'm not.
And I wasn't here on Election Day. I don't know who they were talking about
It
specifically.
happens every election.
that we just have a kind of a small parking lot, and there's only so many ways to get in. And then there's the whole free speech thing, so.
To do
Tell them they can't.
I understand we can't make people do anything, but again, we can't have our residents feeling uncomfortable coming to vote.
I agree 100%.
Put that out there, so. That's all I got. Thank you.
Okay, Mrs. Perry.
My only comment tonight is that in Finance Committee, we acknowledged that it was Kathy Mulcahy's last finance meeting, and we thanked her for her many years of service to the village and on finance, and that how much the finances have changed in the years that you've been here, so thank you again.
Mr. Bilski?
I have nothing, no comments to add tonight. Thank you.
Mr. Klein?
Planning Commission met last night. A number of items, including several new homes for Lakes of Orange Phase 7 were approved. They're moving forward very rapidly in building the homes in Phase 7. We're excited to see what is happening there. We had another, an amendment for the site plan of Lakes of Orange to allow for a deck, and that was pretty much it. I'm going to pass out a document here for everybody to take a look at. And why don't you pass that down? In moving forward into the office of mayor, the transition and selection of an appointment to fill my unexpired term will occur contemporaneously. I am hereby resigning from council that shall be effective as of midnight on December 31st, 2023. I would like to streamline the transition and minimize the time that council is without a full complement Consequently, I believe it appropriate to begin the process now by recognizing the need to fill the opening and advertising for prospective candidates, and then having the resumes available immediately for the new council in 2024 to review candidate information and conduct interviews efficiently and timely. It's unusual for a council person to step down and continue to have a role in the village government. That said, I have served Orange Village Council for nearly 11 years and have brought to the position a set of unique skills and capabilities. While I will not have a role in selecting my successor, I would like the members of council who will deliberate on the candidates to consider what my replacement represents and then take these suggestions into account. I therefore propose the following action. The clerk of council shall advertise for candidates to be considered for the council seat vacated as of January 1, 2024. The candidates shall submit a letter of interest along with their credentials that describe the candidate's background and relevant experience. This notice of interest shall be publicized on or before December 10th, 2023, to the extent that we can. The letters are to be sent to the attention of Anna Girardi, Clerk of Council, at our address here. Letters of interest and credentials should be received no later than January 2nd of 2024, and the Clerk of Council shall then collect, scan, and electronically distribute the submissions to the members of council who will take office as of January 1.
I'm sorry, Judge. I'm just concerned. I don't know how we're going to get things out to everybody fast enough. It's already December 6th.
Okay.
You want us to get a notice out to everybody, it'll hit them right in the middle of holidays, and then you want them to have it in here by January 2nd.
I'm just suggesting some dates.
Yeah, I think that's a little tight.
We can,
Since you only really need one candidate, I'll have it in on time. Don't worry about it.
I think we need a variety, and I'll get to that. Can I finish my statement, and then, and we can talk a little further? Council members shall review the submissions, and at council meeting, and I suggest you January 10th, the president of council shall set a date and time for council members to convene and conduct the interviews of the candidates. Following the interviews, the members shall deliberate and select the new council person, who will then be given the oath of office at the first meeting possibly in February. In considering the candidates for the vacant seat, I suggest the following criteria be taken into consideration. The new council person should reflect the character, integrity, and commitment commensurate to represent the best interests of the village. The new council person should be able to work well with new council and mayor, adding value to the community. There's an opportunity to increase the diversity of our council, and we ought to not miss that chance to identify a candidate who may bring that into position. As I will be leaving the role of council representative to the Planning Commission, consideration ought to be given to someone with experience and knowledge in understanding planning and development issues, particularly given several projects that will be moving forward next year and into the future. With this charge and list to consider, I take my leave for you to pursue this endeavor, wishing you all the best. I look forward to working with the new council in my new position. On the back of this, I've added a list of characteristics that I actually come from a book that I published, The 21 Indispensable Qualities of Leaders by John C. Maxwell. I clipped this out of a book that I wrote called AIA's Living Your Life as a Leader, and I leave that to you to consider and read on your own. As far as the dates are concerned, that's going to be up to council to decide what that spacing ought to be, but I think it's important that we try to do it as quickly as possible to make sure that that seat gets filled as early.
Let Mr. Duber speak, please.
I'd like to see, at least get the notice out this year so that, we can set the date of return whenever it is appropriate for council and comfortable. But I think at least the notification ought to go out to the community to encourage potential candidates to consider the position and submit credentials.
When does the next newsletter go out?
Mr. Duber speak.
If I may, sorry. I was council president for 9 years, and you know, we had multiple vacancies in that time, and generally speaking, it was the council president who would go ahead and set forth the time frame, and you know, direct Anna to, you know, set everything up, you know, and I know that when I did it, I always worked with the mayor to make sure that, you know, these timeframes work and whatnot. But this feels almost, this feels like this doesn't feel like democracy to me as much. I think that we had I think previously it was a very good process where we would pick a council president. What was that?
What?
Oh, did you say something?
No.
Oh, where we would pick a council president, and council president would discuss a lot of this stuff with the other council members. I would always see who has vacations planned, who's around, and would have a open discussion with other council members to determine the best time frame here. You know, we all know that nothing, generally speaking, on this council is something that is life or death that day. And there would still be 6 council members, you know, that are here. I don't, again, I'm not gonna be here. I'm just giving my 2 cents on this. This seems very aggressive time-wise, and I think it takes away from what the prior precedent has been for probably unnecessary reasons. I don't really see the reason to run this through so quickly, especially when people are trying to get resumes in over the holidays. You know, people are on winter break with their kids out of town. This just seems like a large deviation from the past, and I don't necessarily see
Timing-wise, you know, the dates could be, you know, I put in some, I guess I'll call them suggested milestones. They don't have to be followed, but I think that the process that I've outlined here is appropriate.
I think it's not that far from what it's been, but there's a lot of shalls in this, and I think that it's important for the mayor to work with the council, and in these types of situations, to work with the council president. And I don't think that your new council person is going to be the council president, and I think it would probably make most sense, again, I'm not here, so it is what it is, but to elect a council president, and then that council president work with the mayor to fully flush this out, because it has to be a collaborative process. And again, that's just from my experience of 9 years as council president, 12 years on council, and working with Mayor Mulcahy on these things. And I think that I don't think there was ever an issue when we were doing this.
It's really, you know, how can Anna get it out?
Take Anna's time and life into consideration as well. So,
And I do think
I don't disagree with you, Brandon, in that regard.
the process, my understanding, and Mr. Byron can correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is it is up to whoever the current council members are at that time to elect the next person to be, or appoint, I should say is the right word, the next person, and that the mayor only really gets involved if they take 45 days from the vacancy to do that. So with that said, I say that we need to, in the beginning of the year, you know, if something wants to happen faster, it doesn't matter to me either way, honestly, on a personal level. I'm available to get my resume in as soon as possible. I'm making no, you know, I'm not hiding from anyone my intention of running for that, you know, for an interviewing, I should say, for that appointment, and whatever will be, but I think that it's really up to who the council people will be to decide how they want to do it and who they want to ultimately appoint.
We only talk about a difference of a month.
Yeah. Well,
Just outlining a process that I think is appropriate, and put the date in, however, and I have every intention on working closely with the council president.
bless you, bless you, bless you.
Are you?
Okay.
And working closely with council president, that in that process, we need to be a team as we have been.
Okay, well, I think that's a given that we'll be a team.
Thank you.
I hope so. Okay.
And then, thanks for cleaning up the streets efficiently in the snowstorm, Bob.
Hey, Mrs. Vincent.
Thank you to everyone who's stuck around for what I think has been the longest meeting I've been at in 4 years. So thank you all for being here, and for those that are still tuned in, I will try and keep my comments as short as possible. School board meets next Monday, so I'm not even going to do a school report tonight. We'll save that to next week. I do want to say that it is the holiday season, and we have a number of people right from our own community that are in the Nutcracker downtown, that are in the national tour of Hairspray, is a former Orange Village resident, Josiah Rogers, who also played the same role in his senior production at Orange High School. Seaweed, yeah. It's a lead role, yeah. So that's terrific. So we're very proud of him. And we also have a student that is in Christmas Carol, playing Tiny Tim and Master William. So go out and see shows and support our local community. And speaking of that, Notoriety Show Choir, which rehearses here on the Tuesdays that we're not here, has their performance next week. If you want details, we could probably put it on the website too, but it's at 7 o'clock next Thursday. I want to thank our wonderful police forces for their vigilance in protecting our community against anti-Semitism and for their commitment to keeping our Jewish population safe. Thank you for the work you do all the time and that your teams do all the time. Speaking of officers, I also want to thank all who donated to the Shop with a Cop event. Today was the last day to purchase raffle tickets or donate. I want to send out a huge thank you to the Kiwanis Club of Lander Circle, who made a very generous donation to this wonderful program. Here in Orange, yep. And thanks to all of you and all who donated, there will be 9 children that will be able to go shop with a cop in a few weeks. So thank you for all you all did. Speaking of wonderful programs, Orange for the Holidays, once again, please patronize our advertisers. We want to keep this program going. $1,000 raffles up for grabs, so use your books, keep them with you, and go buy things. Thanks to Anna and Jesse again for their work to make this happen for our residents and businesses again this year. I also want to commend John Sangdahl and his team once again for the work they did to create a program and Veterans Wall at Orange High School that has received national acclaim. More than 500 people attended the beautiful ceremony. I saw a lot of you there, and if you haven't had a chance to see the wall, I highly encourage you to do so. It means so much to so many. Once again, thank you to all of our veterans. I will have some personal words to share next week, of course, but I want to note for the record a few things that were shared with our wonderful Mayor Kathy Mulcahy this past week. Among the many proclamations that she received, I was honored to receive 2 items to present to Kathy. I reached out to both the United States Senate and the White House to recognize her incredible 40 years of service to Orange Village. Both eagerly responded. The first was in the form of a beautiful letter from U.S. Senator Sherrod Brown, who commended the mayor for, quote, her savvy fiscal policy and guidance that helped make Orange Village financially robust, and also noted, the people of Ohio owe you a debt of gratitude for your dedication and hard work. I heartily agree. The second item received was an invitation from the President and Dr. Biden to attend the White House holiday party in Washington, D.C. this year. Circumstances precluded her from being able to attend next week, like our council meeting, right? But I am very grateful that they have extended the invitation to December of 2024. So she will be recognized officially by the White House. I know the accolades will continue to roll in, and I congratulate and thank you, Kathy, for the incredibly sweet zest you bring to Orange. Speaking of sweet, a very happy Hanukkah, sweet Hanukkah to everybody.
That's the same.
Stacy will always have stuff to
Find
say.
something.
All right, I will adjourn the special council meeting of December 6, 2023. Thank you, everybody.